It's gonna be weird to see people who are regular workers who were smart enough to invest in Bitcoin if Bitcoin potentially continues on the track that it's going, if we don't have to go through serious regulations, if we don't get if it doesn't get banned here, if another type of Bitcoin doesn't get created, which one hasn't been created in 12 years. So, I mean, but anything happens, something better can come along that replaces Bitcoin, which I think it eventually will happen. I'm just not sure if it will happen in the next 10 years. So, why do people think it's going to go up to 1 million? Well, I think as long as these things don't happen, the sky's the limit. It's going to go past 1 million. I mean, who knows how high it can actually go, and who knows how fast it can go. There's different trajectories of like people are saying it's gonna go up to 100,000 at the end of this year, and to me, like, I think that's gonna go up to 100,000 in a few months. It just depends on how fast the rich people buy in. I mean, I'm surprised that these rich people ain't buying it up right now. I mean, with all these stimulus coming out, there's going to be another one coming out. Why would they want to stay in cash? And I know they have other assets. They have stocks and gold and properties and whatever. But it's amazing to see that so far right now, Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race. That's what I keep hearing. That's what I heard from, I think, Max Keller, no, not Max Keller, Max Kaiser. It's the fastest horse in the race. So, and actually, gold's been been pretty pathetic right now. I mean, crypto's really hurting that. So, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. Like a post office worker or a mechanic who was smart enough to put in just a little, if they had a little bit of extra money to invest, they invested in Bitcoin, and maybe they got it in ultra early and they got a few Bitcoin. But I mean, from what I hear, you could be pretty dang wealthy, even having a quarter of a Bitcoin. You don't even need a whole Bitcoin in like 10 years to be a millionaire. You could have, like, 0.01 of a Bitcoin. And I think that's 1 million Satoshis. One Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis. Point one is 10 million, and then if you have 0.1, that's 1 million Satoshis. And there's an article saying that, because of it's called scarcity, right? So they're gonna have people mining them. There's a big possibility that you won't even have a chance to buy Bitcoin going forward, because people are gonna hold it, and these exchanges will probably run out, which is going to drive the price up even more. They can only mine 950 a day right now. Well, in a couple of years, it's going to cut it in half to like 450. There's only so this is how it goes. There's only 21 million that could ever be mined. There's estimated to be, I don't know, 2 to 5 or 6 that have been lost. So it's like, people think that you have to have a whole Bitcoin to be wealthy in the future. If it all pans out, I mean, this is a speculative asset. Bitcoin could go to 0. But it's just amazing that potentially you can see people who are smart enough to get in early, smart enough to see the technology, them like really like their life will change dramatically, and it's interesting to see how they will adapt to this life. I mean, things are gonna be different a lot, very different in 10 years. So you know, and there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be extremely poor too. That's what sucks, because they're not gonna be able to get in Bitcoin. You're gonna have the richest people fighting over Bitcoin. They said like the richest people will be fighting over um, 0.01 of a Bitcoin, a million Satoshis. They'll be fighting over this. It's going to become more scarce and more scarce, making it more valuable. And then you do have people that are holding it. So the group or the person that made it, Satoshi Nakamoto, or I think his name is, or their name, they hold 1 million Bitcoin. Okay. So what I think will happen is if it all gets, if people, if there's not much circulation, the people are gonna have to start releasing it in some type of aspect to make it a healthy ecosystem, right? Because everyone's just gonna hold it. But I guess, I mean, if it's gonna be a currency, and I think eventually it'll stable out. You know, it's highly volatile right now, but eventually it will. It seems like it's not dropping as much. You know, it only dropped, I think, I forgot how much percent, but it dropped from 58 all the way down to 42. But like that didn't scare me at all. Now it's going up. Now it's pumping. It's 54 right now. And that's the highest it's been since it's been 58. So I think it's going to pump up, and it can go past 60. You know, but it amazes me that these countries aren't getting in on it, you know, backing their currency with Bitcoin instead of being a slave to the American dollar. You know, seeing that the American dollar, the only thing it does is like, if you go through a depression, if America goes through a depression, then you go through a depression. If America goes through a recession, then you go through a recession. Well, why not just back it with Bitcoin? Why not say screw America? Why are they slaves to the American system? And I know they got their own central banks, but still, you know, you would think that they'd be like, huh, you know, I'm North Korea, I'm gonna get Bitcoin, and then they're gonna be extremely wealthy if it keeps going up. So this could be the next this could be the global currency going forward. So and you can look at other people and figure it out how you can borrow against your Bitcoin, and it's called collateral debt, something like that. Well, this is what rich people do. They borrow against their assets. So it's not like you know, poor working people where we just take out credit card debt with no backing of anything. If they can't pay back their debt, they kind of take like another debt out on it, you know, and then they pay that debt, especially if their assets have gone up. It's really complicated how they do it, and then that's why they can do it, because they have smart people that help them out. But you know, you're obviously gonna have to pay on that. If your Bitcoin keeps going up, it's kind of dumb to sell it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of dumb to sell your Bitcoin. You might as well just keep it and borrow against it, and then just pay on the debt. You know, obviously, like to buy a house or a big purchase like that. But like you really don't need to sell it, because if you do sell it, then you have to pay capital gains tax on it. You know, that's a big chunk, 35% for, I think, short term capital gains, and then long term is like 28%. So if you don't want to pay mass amounts of taxes on your gains, then you can just borrow against the actual Bitcoin. So it's just going to be interesting to see how things go forward, how things are going to flip, how you see all these people that are looks like they're high on the hog right now are going to be totally destroyed. Maybe they got lots of debt, and then you got people that actually have invested in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and obviously wherever Bitcoin goes, the other cryptocurrencies go too. They pump too. So if Bitcoin pumps, they pump. If Bitcoin goes down, they go down. And it's gonna be crazy, you know. It's cool. If people are smart enough to get into it and they're a regular person, you know, this right now is, and it seems like it's a lot of money. But if it's gonna go up to if it's gonna go up to $1 million in 10 years or less, maybe 5, maybe 15. I mean, if you get like 0.01 of a Bitcoin right now, and you spend like, it's probably gonna pump up. So you're probably gonna spend $1,000. Yesterday, you only had to spend $570 to get this, and you just store it. You know, store it, and then like I store mine on BlockFi, and I get 6%